Okay, we need to talk about GameStop. Now, this is larger than gaming, but gaming has certainly been pulled into it because GameStop, as I'm sure many of you know right now, their stock has surged to unprecedented, ridiculous levels, and this is a movement driven by Reddit. So to understand what's going on with GameStop, you have to understand the concept of shorting. So a lot of these hedge funds and investors, they believe GameStop will fail. So by shorting the company, what they're essentially doing is borrowing some GameStop stocks and then selling them off at a certain price point, and their hope is that as the business continues to fail, the stock price will go lower and lower and lower, and so when they buy back those stocks, they're going to be at a lower price, and so the price difference between how much they sold it for at a higher price point versus how much lower the stock is, should the company fail, like that's how much profit they would make, and that's what they're hoping for. That's what they're gambling on. But what's happening recently is that Reddit is engaging in this movement to essentially stick it to Wall Street by raising the stock price of GameStop by investing in GameStop. And so if we go to this chart right here, you can see that at one point, the stock was at $347.51 US, which is freaking just bananas. Keep in mind that this is from like lows as little as $3. And so people who got in early made boatloads of money. There's one individual on Reddit who actually invested, and he's like the most popular sort of investor amidst all this from Reddit. He started off by investing like a little over $50,000, and then that grew to become tens of millions, 10 million, 20 million. I think he's, now up to like 50 million. I mean, just going from the lowest point when stocks were at like $2 essentially right here. I mean, you can see that the growth, the percentage there, 12,093% growth. You can imagine how much money people made if they bought stock when it was in the single digits. Meanwhile, the people who shorted the company, who thought the company would fail, they're losing billions of dollars. According to Business Insider here, GameStop short sellers have lost $5 billion this year as Reddit's day trader army squeezed their bearish bets. So this is what that's called short squeezing. So while your average Joes are kind of rallying together to make some money off of GameStop stock, manipulating the market in a similar manner that Wall Street does, Wall Street is losing a ton of money. Basically, the people who shorted GameStop, who borrowed those stocks, sold them off, they now have to buy them back at a much, much higher price point. They're going to lose so much money from this. And so the positions are kind of reversed. The rich suddenly get poorer and the poor get richer. And it's this situation that's gained so much traction. Nothing like this has ever happened. It is actually pretty freaking insane. Now, beyond Reddit organizing to raise GameStop's stock price by a huge amount, there's also this vicious cycle going on of people who shorted the company now buying GameStop stock to compensate for the losses of the short. And that creates a vicious cycle where as the stock rises, the people who shorted lose more money, and so they're buying more GameStop stock to make up for that, but then the stock rises further, they lose more money, and so that vicious cycle kind of reinforces itself, and that's why we're seeing stock kind of skyrocket. Go to the moon, I believe, is the famous phrase that's being thrown around right now. But the main thing, though, is that tons of people are flooding to get a piece of that GameStop stock, either to try to make some money or because of the ideal surrounding this movement, which is to stick it to Wall Street. Like, there's deep passion surrounding screwing those billionaires who screwed everyone else when they played casino with the economy. The subreddit that kickstarted all of this is called Wall Street Bets. And this is what the subreddit's front page looked like yesterday. And so people kind of highlighting various politicians who kind of side with them. So AOC said, "Gotta admit, it's really something to see Wall Streeters with a long history of treating our economy as a casino complain about a message board of posters also treating the market as a casino." Yeah, so Wall Street all of a sudden is calling foul on the system because regular people, the average Joe, people who are not at the top 1%, are now doing the exact same thing Wall Street have been doing all these years. Now that people are doing that to Wall Street, all of a sudden, the game's rigged. All of a sudden, now they're complaining. And so plenty of people have been calling out the hypocrisy of Wall Street. And then moving down here, you'll find this individual. Username Deep Fucking Value is an especially prominent figure in the subreddit because this is the individual who managed to turn their investment of tens of thousands of dollars into tens of millions of dollars. Last update, we saw the dude was almost $50 million rich. And beyond highlighting joke posts like the year's 2030, Wall Street Bets is the largest hedge fund on earth, analysts scour Reddit for the hottest memes, stocks are made to only go up, life is good. People are talking about kind of the BS response to all of this. So one individual talked about how some dickhead on CNN said the government should ban people for talking about the stock market on the internet. This ain't China, bro. Indeed, there are people suggesting that regular people shouldn't be allowed to participate in the stock market conversation in the same way that the billionaires are, because reasons. They're acting like the stock market game only belongs to them. That is not the case. The people have kind of gotten wiser about it. They've kind of exploited the internet and the communal aspect of Reddit to do their own gamble on the stock market. And it's paid off big time for a lot of people. To echo this further, a Reddit user highlighted a tweet by Anna Kasparian who said, so market manipulation by Federal Reserve pumping money into failing banks and corporations is okay, but Reddit users rallying GameStop is wrong and must be regulated. The entire stock market is disconnected from reality. Funny how quickly the financial press cries for hedge funds. The people who feel slighted by Reddit, who made a legitimate move, are now saying this needs to be regulated when Reddit is playing the same game that they've always been playing, but now that they're negatively affected, now all of a sudden something needs to change. Now the system's unfair. Something that's being emphasized by Wall Street Bets is that people need to hold the line for this to work. Basically, don't get scared. If you see the stock dip, don't get scared, hold the line, and maintain this. The second people start selling on masses when this whole endeavor fails. And this is another Reddit comment that was highlighted on Twitter stating, you there, yeah you, the person reading this comment, calm the fuck down. Seriously, you already know what you have to do. Hold that dang line. Wall Street is pulling out all the stops to make us want to bail and sell our shares. Don't give in to them. Hold GameStop. Don't let them off the hook. We are in this together and it only works if we're together. Don't worry about the server or the Discord. Wall Street Bets were banned from Discord because, I don't know, I think they cited something like, oh, hate speech or something, but no, they're using that as a scapegoat. The real reason is Wall Street Bets got too powerful. They got too savvy, and so now they are no longer allowed to congregate on Discord, but on Reddit, they're still on. This was honestly to be expected. It's a good sign, not a bad sign. We're breaking the system, LOL, and soon we will be paid for it. And it's important to emphasize these are average Joes. IGN actually interviewed some of them, talking about how 3 traders from Wall Street Bets spoke to IGN, and they said they're not full-time traders, while a 4th says they're still relatively new to trading. But they joined the Wall Street Bets community. They kept up with the developments, and based on the suggestions of people who maybe were more knowledgeable, they made an investment in GameStop, and together they managed to get this thing going, and now they're rich. And, you know, good for them. Now, beyond GameStop, other companies are seeing a similar surge. Other seemingly failing companies that Wall Street might have shorted, they're also seeing a surge in the stock price because the Wall Street Bet subreddit have highlighted these companies. So AMC, which is kind of a movie theater chain that's been on the downwards trend, especially as the pandemic kicked in, they've seen their stock rise to unprecedented levels out of the blue. And the same goes for companies like BlackBerry and Nokia, and was it like Macy's, one of the clothing chains, apparently has been failing. So this is just an insane situation that's made stock trading kind of mainstream. More people are aware of stock trading, and a lot of people have downloaded these apps so they can trade some stock and get in on this while they can. Now, this is a bubble that will burst at some point, but we'll see how long that bubble lasts for. The Wall Street Bet subreddit really are trying to hold the line with all of this. Now, this whole situation only got more heated as a stock trading app, Robinhood, which is very popular and what a lot of people have been using in this situation, decided to place restrictions on the trading of GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia, and other securities after heavily shorted stocks saw rapid gains due to encouragement on the Wall Street Bet subreddit. So once again, we're looking at hypocrisy here when Wall Street, when the top 1%, when the rich people engaged with the economy in this manner, when they gamble with the economy, nothing happens, everything's honky-dory, everything's A-okay. But the second that your average Joes start engaging with this, all of a sudden some line has been crossed, and all of a sudden restrictions have to be put in place. It's complete BS. This is protection of the rich, who have an advantage in this game. And the thing is, Robinhood always advertised itself as a company that will democratize investment. But when they were finally tested on that, they completely buckled under pressure. And a lot of people are pointing this out. So here's a tweet stating Robinhood marketing itself as a business to democratize investment and then capitulating to the demands of the elite few is a great time to remember that businesses sell themselves on progressive sloganeering in order to profit off your political sensibilities. Here's Ted Liu, who said, why are brokerage firms like Robinhood restricting trading in GameStop? Looks to me like a fear of too much profit going to ordinary investors rather than the people who are already rich and billionaires and the top 1% of the top 1%. And this is kind of hilarious coming from a company called Robinhood, a character who takes from the rich and gives to the poor. But they're anything but Robinhood right now. They want to keep the rich rich and the poor at bay. Is what they're trying to do. This is straight up just market manipulation in favor of the rich. So Rashida here, for example, tweeted, this is beyond absurd. FSC Dems need to have a hearing on Robinhood's market manipulation. They're blocking the ability to trade to protect Wall Street hedge funds, stealing millions of dollars from their users to protect people who have used the stock market as a casino for decades. Again, people who don't need that money. Whereas on the Wall Street Bet subreddit, there are actually a lot of people talking about how they were in a financially precarious situation until all of this happened, and now they're much more stable, they're able to pay off certain debts, and, they're just much more well off. People who were just barely getting by are now able to live comfortably. That's not to say that there aren't hedge funds or investors who are now in serious trouble after placing such a hard bet on shorting some of these companies, but this is the game you played. This is the gamble you made, and you lost the gamble. And now they're doing everything they can to try to stop this by influencing companies like Robinhood to stop people from trading with companies like GameStop. E-Trade is also restricting purchases of GameStop and AMC, and plenty of others are kind of capitulating to the rich. And if this doesn't highlight how rigged the whole economic system is and how much it favors the rich, I don't know what does. You've also got legislators like AOC stating stuff like, this is unacceptable. We now need to know more about Robinhood's decision to block retail investors from purchasing stock while hedge funds are freely able to trade the stock as they see fit. As a member of the Financial Services Committee, I'd support a hearing if necessary. And then scrolling down, you'll see freaking Elon Musk chimed in, said absolutely, and plenty of big names responding to all of this. And basically the sentiment out there right now is that it's a free market when the rich decide it's a free market. Now, the response to all of this is people are more determined to hold the line. Frickin' Ja Rule tweeted, Robinhood app, this is a crime. Do not sell, hold the line. WTF. Hold the line is especially being emphasized because we are seeing stock drop for GameStop and all of these companies that were swept up in all of this. And so we've got Reddit users saying stuff like, important, there are no sellers, do not panic if you see price drop, hold the line, upvote so people don't panic. Here's somebody else who said the dip is mostly the funds trading amongst each other to drive the price down. Do not flinch. So apparently there's some kind of market manipulation going on to get people to panic sell, seeing that the stock seems to be dipping and that all of this seems to be falling apart. But apparently this is just a mirage, and Reddit insists that people should not sell if they want to keep this going. Now, I'm not a financial expert, so I don't know exactly how that works, and this video is not meant to offer financial advice whatsoever, but this is just what's happening. I'm just relaying what people are saying, what's going on. This is just a very volatile situation. A situation that continues to develop, and I'll keep you guys updated if anything major happens. But so far, the story is very much a story of Robinhood, and I'm not talking about the app. This is very much the kind of the people who are not at the top 1%, taking matters into their own hands and playing the game that Wall Street has been playing and winning at it. Wall Street has been losing. Now they're salty about it. Now they want regulation. Now they're calling foul game. Now they want to censor these communities organizing because they've gotten wiser to the game that is clearly rigged to the rich. But, these people have managed to unrig it and kind of take advantage of it Wall Street wants none of that. Screw Wall Street. This is straight up just the biggest middle finger ever given to those rich mofos, to Wall Street. And you know what? I'm all for it. Let their billions burn. So that's my take on this whole situation. Again, do not deem this video to be financial advice. This is just me relaying the current story surrounding this insane development. So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on GameStop's stock surge and the movement here that Wall Street Bets is engaging in. Drop a comment, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.